Welcome back to another video, guys. This video is going to be about the things that I would like to see from the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection going forward. I'm a big fan of Power Rangers, and this list is my personal list on what things that I would like to see from the line and things that they could probably do differently to kind of make sure that the line stays fresh, new, but then also keeps people interested. So let's get started. One thing that I think that they could really do to switch things up is give us civilian outfits for the teams. I know that they're yet to complete a lot of the teams that we're looking for, but I think that that's definitely something that they could possibly visit down the line. And the reason why I say this is because I've seen a lot of people trying to make customs of like the Rangers with different fits that they have. But ultimately, with the body shapes and the size and the proportions, it's harder for us to find things that can, act as substitutes, especially like this Ninja Storm. That's a very distinct look. And I think it would just be a nice addition, right, to kind of switch things up and give us some different display options, right? I don't think that's ever been anything that we've seen in the past. So it'd definitely be cool to get, the Rangers and some of their more iconic civilian outfits. And for the most part, usually with the Ranger teams, like their actual Power Ranger outfits, they do tend to stick to like a actual uniform, right? They have set looks. Usually they don't really change episode to episode. For the most part, they're very kind of straightforward and formulaic. So I think that'd be cool just to be able to get different teams and looks. And plus, wouldn't that be cool to get some unmorphed Rangers fighting some henchmen, like some putties, or I think that would just create so many different opportunities in terms of photography, displays, just anything. So that's definitely something that I would love to see going forward, and I think they would really be able to nail it. Another thing that I would like to see is more henchmen. I think that henchmen are definitely something that we are in desperate need of. We've gotten the putties, we've gotten the cogs, and the tengu, but I think just switching it up, I think that, I don't know if it's on purpose that they're kind of going season by season. That's how it feels, but I think they could really do something different. I like that they're giving us 2-packs with some of them, but I think that they could really switch things up. And I know that they know that people are army building these things. There ain't no way that they could do kind of similar to what they did with the Aquatar Rangers, or those Rangers, like a 5-pack or like army builder set, something like that. I think that would be nuts, and I think that would just create a lot of attention. We have so many different types of henchmen, and I think that doing it step by step every season, eventually, it's just going to get tiring. So I think that having the ability to kind of army build, aside from the 2-pack or whatever, I think that'd be crazy. And we have a lot of henchmen to choose from. There's so many different variations. So I think that it's definitely a potential that they need to really kind of put a little bit more focus on. And a lot of the henchmen, like the Rinshi, I think they're called Rinshi, but whatever. They just need extra hands. They don't need many accessories. So why not? They just look so cool. So I think that's definitely something I would love to see going forward. Just different variations of henchmen, or maybe some sets to kind of help us army build them faster, get them more frequently at that. Next up on my list is something I actually don't want to see. Now, I'm a big fan of Power Rangers. I grew up in the 90s, so right at the time when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was just blowing up, and even to this day, I'm still a huge fan. I will everybody, like that's my thing. I will never not turn down Power Rangers. But on the flip side, I am feeling the burnout from just constantly getting things from Mighty Morphin, right? We're always getting kind of like re-releases, And I know the 30th anniversary is coming up right around the corner, and I get that. That's cool. I understand that. But I think after we can definitely do away with the team, right? Maybe we could get alternative villains. Sure, I would love a Nasty Knight. That dude would just go so sick, and that's something that I would love to see. I remember having that toy as a kid. That's definitely something that I would love to see. But ultimately, I want to see other teams. I want to see other things being done. Let's just, going forward, let's just kind of leave it in the past. We're getting re-releases of things that we've already gotten, and I think we could do better. So that's what I want to see. One more thing that I would love to see is the villains, right? Similar to the henchmen, I think that we've been getting not as much attention from the actual main villains of each series, and I think that's huge untapped potential. And when I say villains, I don't mean like the side villains. I mean like the main villains, right? I think that we've been kind of slowing down. I mean, we recently got the release of Mesogog, which is dope, and that's a season I know a lot of people are really into. So I want to see something like that, right? They could switch it up and maybe kill two birds with one stone, right? Maybe they could do like the main villain with a couple of henchmen, some type of set. I don't know. I just want to see more main villains because I know that main attraction of like the Lightning Collection is going to be the Rangers, but ultimately I want to see more villains too, because who are the Rangers without some villains too? So that's definitely something I would like to see going forward. Okay, so I know I've been pretty much beating the dead horse by now, but this is the 5-pack that I've been mentioning for throughout this whole video, and I think that we could definitely do more complete teams. I love the idea of having this be a complete set where you don't have to wait for each individual figure. Now, I don't know how many people are really looking into getting this specific team. I know that it's been since sold out on Hasbro Pulse, but I know it also is available on Amazon. But I think this is just a dope idea, and this could really help us round out some complete teams, right? I know there's a lot of teams that we haven't even started getting into, like RPM, which I know is a lot of people, a fan favorite amongst a lot of people. So I think that maybe kind of trying this idea and doing more like box sets or something like that would definitely be worth it. I think it'd be able to help kind of get to way more teams, because we're talking over 20 years of history with these teams, right? Samurai is another one that I would love to see. So I think maybe kind of them going and doing box sets would help us kind of get to more teams faster, and maybe they could switch things up. One more thing that I would like to also kind of mention is that I hate that they do these things where they have one figure that you want, say blue, with like kind of like the Time Force, right? Where they did one figure with like the Vector Cycle, but then they released Time Force Red without it. And if you wanted blue, well, you had to get the Vector Cycle unless they're gonna wait for the re-release. So there are certain things that I think that they could kind of get around. Maybe they could release the vehicles separately, right, as like an addition, so that way we can still get to the figures that we want. So yeah, being able to do something like this, like a team set, would be super dope. And I think, like I mentioned again, it would help us get to way more teams a lot faster. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is just the things that I would personally like to see. Let me know what you guys think. Ultimately, these are my opinions. There's no right or wrong, and I would love to see what other people think. I think that this line has great potential. I know a lot of people kind of hate on it for their lack of paint apps and lack of different things, but ultimately I want to see this line succeed. I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers, and it's been a while since we've gotten something this good, so let's just hope that they keep it going.